All right, this person says, Caro John, I think that's Italian. Tell me, how does one survive such a betrayal? You see, I believed truly, deeply that this person was my friend, my amico, someone I let close to my heart. And now they have revealed themselves to be something else entirely, maybe even my enemy. It has turned my world upside down. I am shaken, confused, furious. How could I have been so blind? So wrong. What was I seeing? What was I missing? And now the worst part, how can I ever trust myself again? My instincts, my judgment, they feel like strangers to me. Thank you from my whole heart for the light you bring. I need it now more than ever. Con gratitudine. Sure, I'm slaughtering that pronunciation. Well, thank you. I think the thing in that kind of situation is it can feel like the betrayal can feel like the thing that's disturbing you. And it does disturb you, and of course it hurts. But what's under that and what's really disturbing is the disorientation that comes with it. Because inside us we have our inner landscape. We kind of, everyone can kind of relate to that idea. But that inner landscape is how we know who we are. So that when we wake up in the morning and we put ourselves together, we know who we are. Now, I'm out in nature, so there's some mountains behind me. So it would be like in our inner landscape. Let's say, we've got a mountain of shame, the bay of tranquility, the beach of sorrow, and the river of regret. Now we might go, I don't like that mountain of shame. I think I'd like to change that. And that's fine. But it's almost like there's two things in operation. There's what the content of the landscape is, and then just the landscape. That's like the orientation of the landscape. So from that part of us, from that perspective, it's like mountain, bay, river, beach. That's all. So and this can happen a lot. I used to see this a lot in personal development trainings. People would come, they have these amazing transformations in like over a weekend. And it was a bit like they got rid of the mountain of shame. But within a month, they had the shame back. And that's nothing to do with, sabotage, or I want the shame back. It's not that. It's like the orientation system on the inside goes, where's the mountain? There was a mountain there and it's not there anymore. What the hell? It would be as disturbing as, let's say you live on a street and at the end of the street there's a T-junction. You've lived on that street for 10 years and every morning when you go to work, there's the T-junction, you turn right and you go to work. So you come home from work one night and you get up the next morning, you drive down your road, you get to the T-junction, but it's not a T-junction anymore. Now it's a crossroads and there are two skyscrapers on the other side. Can you imagine how disturbing that would be? How disorienting. You'd be like, what happened? It's kind of the same, like when you get rid of the mountain of shame. There's one part doesn't really care what the mountain is made of, the orientation part. It's just concerned with, well, there's a mountain there. We, of course, are concerned with the shame. We don't want the shame. So that's why, like, when we make changes, like the other cliche is the people who win the lottery and within 2 or 3 years they're back to, exactly the same amount of money and maybe even worse off. And that'll be because it's been too disorienting. So when something like that happens, we think things are a certain way. This is my good friend. It's dear to my heart. I trust them. I know them. This is my partner. This is my spouse. I trust them. Or, this is whatever. And then when something shocking like that happens and it completely changes the way we feel, and we think it's all to do with the betrayal or all to do with the content, but often, or a big part, is it's just to do with orientation. We don't know who we are anymore, and we don't know how the world works anymore. And that's the thing that's disturbing. And once you know that, then you sort of remove a good portion of the disturbance. I mean, yeah, you're still going to feel betrayed. You're still going to, feel all the feelings. But this feeling of like, oh, I can't trust myself anymore, that is a lot less, because you kind of know, oh, that feeling is not really about trusting myself, it's about disorientation. Like I'm disoriented because I thought things were a certain way and now they aren't. So let me just acclimatize to this new situation, and once I've reoriented myself to this new thing, then I'll be able to deal with the betrayal and all that kind of thing. And this applies to everything as I've observed it. When you make a big change like that on the inside, it's very important to include orientation so that you don't bounce back out of it, so that you help yourself ground and orient yourself in the new situation.